Hi everybody, so we'll go through to the giveaway from my last video, and here you can see me picking the winner, and the winner is Laurie. Laurie, if you can message me either via Instagram or private message here on YouTube, that would be great, but the best way would be just emailing me your full address with the consent so I could send you your prize. I leave my email address in the description below, so just drop me a quick email there. I'll try to leave a comment underneath your comment as well, just so that you know that you have won. But that's in terms of the winners. Now today I've got a couple of things to talk about. I made a little list. The video is only 35 minutes long, so it won't be too long this time. But I hope you're enjoying this video. I have used a few new things this time. So here you can see me using my new camera. And I hope the quality is so much better. I mean, you can definitely see the stitches so much better. I love it. It just zooms in everything. I know the angle isn't the greatest. And once I turn the light on with my magnifying glass, obviously the light won't be as great, but it's still okay. Eventually, once I move into my new flat later in June, I'll be getting a tripod, the sort of tripod where with an extension arm, meaning that I will be able to film from above, so that it will be right above my stitching rather than from the side, and hopefully that way you'll be able to see it much better. I'm also using a microphone that I bought. It's fairly new to my setup, and I'm doing voiceover for the first time ever, so hopefully that's quite pleasant to all of you. I find these videos really pleasant with voiceovers. I just think they're so much, they're very calming. I don't know if it's the same with everybody, but for me they are. And it sort of allows me a bit of time to think what I want to say while I'm watching the video. I'm doing the voiceover while I'm watching this, so it's I find it a little bit easier. Right, so now that we've got the giveaway winner out the way, I've told you about the new setup, let's talk about a few things. I know it's been quite obvious maybe from my last video. I think I've mentioned that mental health is very important these days to me. I've been doing so much at the moment, and I know I've mentioned this before. I'm moving and my work is being very intense at the moment, and I'm studying master's degree, and it's just everything's all in one place. So I've been trying to think of ways how can I make myself feel a little bit better, at least for the time being. So there's a few things that I've been trying to do. So this past Friday I went to a bookstore here in the UK. The bookstore is called Waterstones. I'm sure a lot of you know that. The coffee shop inside of Waterstones is Narrow Cafe. So what I did, I just went in the morning of the Friday, bought myself a cup of coffee, a slice of cake, and just sat down. I had a little moment to myself. I also bought a book, which I'll talk to you about in a second, and I was just there really spending half an hour to an hour just chilling, really, just trying to people watch. I don't know if any of you do that, but I end up people watching, just observing everybody, and I don't know, other people make me happy when I see people, you know, with families having a cup of tea, cup of coffee, looking over the new purchases, book purchases. It's just, there's something very beautiful about it. Anyway, the book I got is called Leave the World Behind. It's by, and I'm really sorry if I'm butchering the name, it's by Ruman Alam. It says that it's Waterstones exclusive, so I'm not 100% sure if you can get this on Amazon. Well, really, you can get anything on Amazon, but the publisher is Bloomsbury Publishing. And I'll just read you a little premise on the back of this. Here we go. Amanda and Clay are enjoying a taste of the good life when Ruth and J.H., an older couple who claim to own the remote holiday home they are staying in, arrive seeking shelter. These strangers say that a power outage has swept the city, but with no phone service and the internet down, the facts are unknown. What has happened back in New York? Is the holiday home a truly safe place for the families? And are they safe from one another? It's a fairly small book. It's only, let's have a look, it's only 245 pages. So really it's a sort of couple of days and it should be done. I don't think it will be too long. As I say, it's a fairly small book. Now, when I went in to buy something, I wasn't really looking at anything specific. I was just getting whatever was there and whatever caught my eye. But while I was looking at this book, the guy who worked at the bookshop, he approached me. He saw me kind of, I picked up the book, so he saw me doing it, and he just said, I really, really recommend it. If you don't buy anything, at least get this one. I really recommend it. It's a totally different world, and in the way it's written, it's very unique. And yeah, he just basically recommended it to me, and did say, give it a try. So I got it. Not sure when that will be read. Again, time is off an issue these days. But hopefully, I've got so many books. So before I was that much into stitching, my whole life revolved around books. In my mum's flat, I had, in the bedroom, I had 3 huge bookshelves from one end of the room to the other across the entire wall. And my books are still there. Most of them I have read. I think there's only a couple that I haven't. I do have some limited edition books, which hopefully will still be at my mum's home. And one day I will bring them here to the UK. Maybe when I have my own house. Who knows? But that was my first, was it my first passion? It was an alternative passion, basically. Because with stitching, I used to stitch when I was little and then sort of put it away. And then I found reading, mainly because I had to read at school and I would love it. I would read religiously every single day, 2 hours before bedtime. And there was a year where I read over 50 books once, and I've written them all down, and I just love the world of books. But I don't really get much time to do it these days. Stitching sort of takes priority at the moment, and it has been for the last maybe 5 years or so. But with the books, so I know the last time I think I spoke about books, I was reading Stephen King's The Shining. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I had a blank moment. The Shining. Now, with The Shining, I think I have maybe 50 pages left. And I sort of got to that point way back in January and I stopped reading it because it got really boring. Now, Stephen King is my all-time favorite author. I adore the man. I think he's a genius in every sense there is. In writing and the way he's thinking about things and the knowledge that he possesses, just everything about him to me is just so admirable. And I've read quite a few Stephen King books, but this one I just cannot force myself to finish it. So I think I need to pick it back up after 6 months of stopping. So once I'm finished with that, I will be reading maybe this new book that I just got. Talking of Stephen King, let's see, what was I going to say? I was going to talk a little bit about travelling, if that's of any interest at the moment to anyone. Again, I don't know, obviously, when we will be able to travel again. Here in the UK, we still have all the bans, and we have, I don't know what it's like in America at the moment, but at least here in the UK, we have a traffic light system for travelling abroad. So we have green list, amber list, and red list. Green list has the countries that we can fly to easily without having to quarantine in the UK or having to quarantine, when we are in that country. There are only a few countries on that green list. I think Australia is on there. I think Israel is on there. What else? I think there's a couple of other countries, but that's it. Then we have the amber list. Now, with the amber list, we have to quarantine when we get back from that country. So quarantine in the UK for 10 days. It's not, we don't have to have a hotel quarantine. We can quarantine at home, but we have to do it. So if we go on a holiday, we have our holiday, we come back, and then 10 days on top of the holiday, we have to be off work basically. And then we have the red list. It's the list where once we are back from that country, we again have to quarantine. However, I think it's for a bit longer, and it has to be a hotel quarantine. Now, I know that it was on the news maybe a couple of months ago that hotel quarantines are about £2,000. So it's a big expense. But at the moment, traveling wise, obviously we can't really do much. Now that list is being updated every 3 weeks. So depending on what's happening in those countries, whether there were more cases or whether they've got any variants or anything like that, then our list is updated. And at the moment, it doesn't look like we will be able to travel much. However, the day that we are able to travel, I've got a couple of plans. I don't know, how soon that will be able to happen though, because it's, a lot has to do with money available and the holidays and those kind of things. But one of my dreams, and it's always been my dream, is visiting Maine, and maybe going on a Stephen King tour. I think there's one tour where they take you to the main locations, even Stephen King's house, his private residence, and I just think that's just a dream. Speaking of Maine, I'm sorry if you can hear the noise outside. Speaking of Maine, quite a few years ago, I actually got a job offer for a privately owned family business. They have sponsored my visa as well. I had flight tickets booked. I had everything sorted, and the job was at a family-owned sort of like a little resort. So they had little cabins on the lake, and my role would have been organising events, private functions, weddings and things like that within all of those venues that they owned on the lake. It's almost like a dream job. I was so excited, I had my visa, I had my flight tickets. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because I got offered a job here in the UK the last minute, and I took it. So instead of going to work in Maine, I went on a very long holiday. I went on maybe a month sort of traveling around the America, just to sort of get a bit of a more interesting experience rather than just ditching everything altogether. When I was there, I had the best time of my life. I flew into San Francisco. I stayed in a hostel, which was quite funny because the girls that were next to me in the hostel, they were from the UK, so we had quite we could relate basically. It was quite funny. Then I drove just all over the place. I went to Yosemite National Park, I went to Las Vegas, I went to the Grand Canyon, I went to Los Angeles, Hollywood, I went to Disneyland, I went to Universal Studios. I've been to a few places basically. I had the best time of my life. I was on my own. I did hire a car or rent a car, and I just drove for hours on end. It was the best experience ever. However, there's still a few places I want to go. So the dream is number one, going to Maine, visiting Maine, and then number two, going to New York at winter time. So I know this is so cheesy, but it's been on my list for so long, for many years, and I'm not too fussed being there over Christmas. I just want to be there when it's snowing, when the Christmas tree is up, and it's always been my dream. And hopefully one day that will come true. Who knows, it may not be this year, it might be December 2022, but it will happen. I'm determined it will happen. I actually have a little video of my trip, sort of like a summarized trip in the US in 2016. I think it's a private video on my channel, on this channel, but I will make it go live and I'll put a little link up here. So if you want to actually go and watch me traveling, you can watch that. It's a very short video, so it's only a snippet of the entire month of whatever it was, but it just shows, I think you can see how happy I was. But I will make sure that I make it live and add a little link up over here so you could go and watch it if you're interested. What else? Hopefully I will get a tripod next, as I mentioned, so I could film it from above. Even though this video is it turned out quite well with the new camera. I'm very, very, very pleased. I think you can see everything pretty well. What else? Let's have a look. I do have a plan for another video in the future. So the plan is to film sort of how-to series, and I think I have mentioned this before, but there's been so many comments on my how to stitch full coverage pieces for beginners. There's been so many comments, people asking me to do more how-to videos, so I think I'll start doing that. Things like how to stitch faster, maybe even things like how to stitch mill hill kit, how to prepare it, those kind of little things. So I know it won't be for everybody, but that won't be the only content on this channel, if that makes sense. It will be just for those who are interested in that kind of thing. What else? I've been spending a lot of my time still packing up for the big move, which is happening in 2 weeks. So I have another 2 weeks to dismount my furniture, meaning my double bed, all of that, the sofa and those little bits and bobs. But this time I have actually paid movers to help me out for the first time ever in 10 years. Back in the past I used to do it myself because it's, you know, it's an expense. But then that being said, I didn't have that much furniture before, and now I sort of, in 10 years I have accumulated quite a bit of furniture, and my new place is absolutely unfurnished, so all it has is white goods, the kitchen units, but it doesn't have anything else. So but I'm getting there. Most of the things are packed up apart from like the bedroom and what's underneath the bed, what's in the bedside tables and those little bits and bobs. So once that's done, I'll be ready to go. And so the idea is that movers will be helping me on the day that I have to move out of here. So I have to do everything in one day, basically. So we will see how that's gonna go. I know it's going to be very exhausting, and it's going to be very, very, very time consuming. I am pretty sure about that. But needs must, you know, needs must. And I will let you know if the company is any good. I don't know if anybody have used it before. I won't tell you what the company's called just yet, but if it works well, I will let you know, because I think they are not just here where I am. I think they're pretty well known. I think they've got branches in a few other places. So that's in terms of the moving situation. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I've started going back to the gym. I do want to go back to my running. I've been sort of slacking, but it's a little bit difficult to do now that I'm back to work full time, and there's just so much to do. There's just so much to do, you know. But little bit by little bit, I will get where I was before. It will take time. It's not a 1 week, 2 week situation. It takes, you know, a couple of months to get back properly into it and to get back to where I was, but there's no rush. You know, nobody's pushing me to do it too much. Right, so I had a comment before. Somebody was asking me to talk a little bit about Lithuanian superstitions, and I think we've got something like 15 minutes left on this video, so I'll try to tell you a little bit about some of them, whatever I can remember. I have to say, obviously, I haven't lived at home for 10 years at this point, so it's been a little while. Let's see, where do I start? I will be honest, I do have some of them pulled up on my phone. I've written some down, I've googled some just to remind myself, but I can obviously go into a little bit deeper. So a couple of them, so this one makes everybody quite sort of confused when I tell them about it. So back at home, we are not to hug each other or shake hands in the doorway, sort of on the threshold. That's a bad sign. So if you are in Lithuania and you're about to hug somebody in the middle of the sort of in the doorway from one room to the other, you will be told off and told not to do that. It's bad luck. That's one of them. Another one that used to make my colleagues laugh at work, especially female colleagues. We shouldn't be putting our handbags on the floor because it just means that, you know, the money will fly out of the bag rather than fly back into it. So it always makes everybody laugh when I tell them this. Of course, we have the same ones in terms of, you know, if a black cat crosses our path, that's a bad sign. Of course, we have that. We also have a thing where we're not allowed to whistle inside a home. Now, I thought that this was something that's, you know, it's everywhere in every country, but to my understanding, every time I mentioned it to an English person, they didn't know what I was talking about. So back at home, for us, if we whistle inside a home, it's bad luck. Whereas here, everybody does it. Nobody cares. So that's another one. I'm trying to think what else is there. There's another one, and this is normally said to little children. If we are all at the table eating dinner or doing whatever we need to do at the table, if the child is sat at the corner of the table, that means that child won't marry soon. So they say, if you do want to marry soon, don't sit at the corner of the table, which is a fun one. Again, I don't know where all of this is coming from. Now Lithuania, this is where I'm from, is a pagan country. Well, it used to be a pagan country, so we've got a very long history of, you know, all of these superstitions and all of that. Let's see what else. Again, I'm just scrolling through them now on the phone just to remind myself of what else have we got. We have a lot of traditions in terms of Christmas and weddings and those kind of things, but that's a totally different separate video, if you like. That's a whole different level. Let's see, what else have we got. We have the saying that if swallows are flying low to the ground, it means that it will be raining very soon. And I know, again, I've not heard that here in the UK. Please do let me know down in the comments if you do know that superstition or saying, or if it's not a thing in your country. It doesn't matter where you're from, just let me know if it's a thing in your country or not. It would be very interesting to see that. Let's see, what else have we got? Of course, we have the thing where if our ears are hot and red, it means someone's talking about us and criticizing us and gossiping about us. That's definitely a thing. What else do we don't have the whole thing with the brolly, with the umbrella opening up inside a house. We don't have that. I know that in the UK that brings bad luck as well, I think. But back in Lithuania, I've never heard of it before. I've just dropped my phone. You probably could hear that. But I think that is it. I can't really remember much more, but we are, as I say, we used to be a a pagan country, so a lot of the stuff is still left over from those days, whenever that was, however many ages ago. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I can find for you, but I don't think so. I think that is it. Now let's talk about stitching. So this month, hopefully I'll have some time for stitching, mainly for my Desert Sun, which I'm stitching right now. This is what I'm stitching, as you can see. I'm trying to put in a few stitches as much as I can. I'll be stitching on this a little bit later once I've posted the video, but it's sort of my piece for the year, the piece that I want to concentrate on. And then hopefully this month I'll be able to stitch a bit more on my friend's sampler. I realized that I have quite a few pieces that are pretty well, okay, not close to finishing, but the pieces and whips that don't require much work. So like my friend's sampler, as well as my Barbara Anna Let It Snow sampler. Come on, it's been 2 years and I haven't finished it yet. There's time. I do need to. I do want to work on having a little sort of creepy corner, if you like. So at the moment I have my Mill Hill Wonders Once, which I have framed, and I did show you that in my previous video. If you want to see it all framed beautifully and it's all sparkly and it's all ready to go and check out my previous video, which I will link up here. I'm also writing it down because I have noticed before that I will tell you, oh, I'm going to link this and this and this, and then I totally forget to link it. Because I tend to not to, look through my entire video again. But yes, hopefully I'll be able to link it here. So I want to work on like a little creepy corner. So I have that Mill Hill finished and framed, fully FFO'd. I also have my Batty For You by the Witchy Stitcher. I have that fully FFO'd, and again I have I think I did show you how I did it on my Instagram, so it's sort of, and I did post it in maybe my January's or February's wrap up video. Is beautiful piece. So at the moment, well, I think it's only 2 that I have for now. So ideally I would like to work on other Mill Hills to create a little corner of all of them. I've just placed an order on 123 Stitch a couple of days ago. I have purchased the newest Mill Hill release. Let's see what it's called. It's quite creepy. I'm just typing that in, Mill Hill Kit 2021. It was so recently released, maybe in April time or something along those lines. Okay, here we go. It's called Spooky Gate. I don't know if you have actually seen the photo. I don't think I'll be able to insert it here now because I'm doing a voiceover on a different program, different software than my normal one. But it's beautiful. It's a gate with yellow sky behind it, and it has a little kitten. I want to say I think it's a bead, CAD bead, which is amazing in itself. So I really want to stitch that maybe this year, and add it to my little corner. So the idea is, for now, I want to stitch Mill Hill kits that are creepy with yellow shades, mainly because the frame that I used for my Wonders Wands has a gold trim around it. So ideally I would like to have maybe 4 or 5 framed using the same frame, sort of the same trim, just so that they look like they are from the same collection, with yellows in the actual stitching piece. So I have this Spooky Gate in mind. I'm also thinking there's a few more. Let's have a look if I can find them. Mill Hill Kits. So sort of Halloweeny ones. I think there's like a cat one with a yellow sky. Let's see. Mill Hill Kit Halloween. I think that's Halloween ones. Yes, so there's one more which is called Moonlit Kitties. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this one. This piece is absolutely like my jam. It has two cats staring at this beautiful sun, I presume. It's yellow. There are some pumpkins on the ground, two trees surrounding the whole picture. It's so beautiful. So this will be another one that I would ideally like to stitch for that corner that I mentioned before. Let's see if there's anything else. Maybe a candle. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like it's Halloweeny one as well. It's candle hold. It's sort of like a candelabra with 3 candles in it, and the candles are orangey yellowy color. So that could work for what I'm trying to achieve. Let's go to 1, 2, 3 stitch. Let's have a look if it's on there as well. That might give me a bit more ideas in terms of what I would like to stitch. I don't think I have anything else that has the yellowy shades. Let's see. I'm just opening up my wish list on 1, 2, 3 stitch. Let me know if you have a wish list on 1, 2, 3 stitch. I love adding stuff to it. I rarely sort of buy from that list for some reason, but I like adding to it. Another one that I do want to buy, it's called Moonlit Traitors. So it has a little witch, a ghost, and a few other characters. Again, looking at the sun, which is yellow. It has some bats or birds, black birds flying towards it. There's some trees around it, but again, it's within the yellow theme, so it matches what I want to achieve. And then I think others are different colors really. So the next sort of row, I would like them to have like magenta colors because there's quite a few kits with those colors that I really want to stitch. So but that's next. At the moment I'm stitching Mill Hill Cappuccino. I had that kit for so long, and I have started it ages ago, maybe a couple of years ago or maybe a year ago, but then I made a mistake and I had to frog a lot, but I'm then made even bigger mistake. I just put it away, and just because I couldn't be bothered to frog it, I was so angry that I've put in so much hard work and I had so much to frog. I basically used the wrong color thread and there was no way I could get out of it. It's just I had to frog it. There was no other option, unfortunately. But now I have picked it back up this month, month of June. I have frogged everything out. It only took me half an hour, so it wasn't too bad. And so far I have put it, today is today is the 6th of June, and so far I have put in, let's have a look how many stitches. I don't count stitches on my mill hills, but I count hours. So I frogged for half an hour and then I stitched for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. So not too bad. At this point I've only done 302 stitches on my African desert or whatever it is, the piece that I'm stitching in this video here. But I will be stitching on it today and tomorrow, and hopefully that will make up for the months that I didn't actually stitch. We will see. What else? I wanted to talk to you about Tilton Crafts. Now, I don't know if I was dreaming about this or I actually saw the owner of Tilton Crafts leaving a comment somewhere saying she's debating of maybe closing the business. And please don't spread the gossip. This could be totally wrong. I could have just dreamt about this, that it happened. I sort of vaguely remember like seeing a comment in one of the groups that she mentioned she might have to fold the business. But again, as I say, it may be just my imagination. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. However, that made me think that I do need to stock up on my Tilton Crafts charts, and there's a few that I do want. Mainly I want Kodak designer ones. Sorry, bear with me, I'm just trying to see. I'm on the website now, so I could tell you exactly what I would love to purchase in the future. So I definitely know that I would like Hocus Pocus one, and I know it's super popular. Quite a few people have stitched it. It's on my wish list. I don't have the pattern yet. I would like to purchase Faces of Robin Williams pattern. I'm not into those like celebrity ones. I don't really see the point. I would like to buy a Snow Girl. But I think that is it. And I will see you next time.